going to keep the unbeaten away record for long, was we now? It was bound to happen eventually. If it weren't Norwich, it would definitely Bristol. We're one of those strange teams where we'll beat the ones where we're not supposed to win, but we'll lose on the ones where we're not supposed to lose. Whenever the odds are not in our favour, we'll win. We're a strange team. You are very loud at breathing, dog. Anyways, so we'll take a look at Bristol quickly. I'm going to have to try and make this as short as possible because we've got busy day today. And the Stoke video should be out on Sunday, if not Monday. Probably not Monday, though. Okay. Righty, so they had the 13 shots. We had 8. 4 of those were on target, 2 of them for us. We're averaging about 8 shots a game now, so not a lot, but I suppose if you don't waste them, then that's fine. But today, well, on Wednesday, we had a very poor performance, so they were pretty much wasted shots apart from the one that Hughes slotted. But yeah, we had more of the possession, but only just. We made quite a few more passes. The accuracy was 73%. I thought it was lower than that, to be honest, because it weren't too great while you were watching it. We just looked very lazy that day. In terms of the lineup, obviously the back three stayed the same apart from Story being out with a match suspension, so we had to replace him with Hughes and Cunningham on the same lineup for a change. We had Fernandez, Whiteman, McCann and Brady in the middle with Johnson up front, and then Reece and Maguire as the 2 forward options. But the problem is here, Brady's getting used to playing here, not down there. And then you had him swapping over with McCann quite a few times during the match, so that instantly was a red flag, because it's Alan Brown that's usually been playing here and who's used to playing here. So that's a massive red flag for me, seeing him there instantly. But oh well. In terms of our bench options, we did end up sending Brown on, as well as Ledson and Woodburn and Evans, and then Diaby at the very end as a forward. We put him here in this cam position, and I saw a lot of people taking the piss out of him for that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not his position, but when you have a squad with this little depth, what are you supposed to do? There's nothing you can do, really, is there? He's one of our few options that were available, because Evans was the only other striker. Because Parrott's out with injury. I mean, I think Potts probably would have been a smarter idea to play instead of, say, Johnson that day. If we're going to go for anything like that, put Brady there and then put Potts there. But at the same time, it's still not mega ideal, is it? Blue, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's still not mega ideal, is it? So the idea here is just to put the biggest lad and the most physical lad up front to try and keep the control in the area, which he did do, to be fair, but not what we're looking for. So this lineup, big no. Plenty of changes, a few changes made to what it had been for the last 2 games before this, but no, don't change it. So in terms of our ratings, Woodman did a 5, and that's fair enough. He didn't have to make too many saves, but the saves that he did make were decent saves, but of course they netted from 2 set pieces. Hughes a 6, he did score the goal, and this wasn't his familiar position, but he did well enough to do so. I'm just going to say the rating if I agree with it. If not, I'll change it, and then I'll say my own words if you're wondering how this works with Lanks Live. With Lindsay, I'd say probably maybe a 5 or a 6. I'm not too sure. He did block quite a few. It's a good job he was there in most cases. That Semenyo on their team, he was a very pacey lad, so he did cause Lindsay some problems. I agree with that. But the blocks that he did make did prove to be crucial at times. But at the same time, he wasn't really on his best. Cunningham is 6. He definitely made a lot of runs compared to other people sometimes, and he was helping out Fernandez as well, so that's good. Brady is 6, so he started in the right wing and he moved to the central, which he shouldn't have done. He had more of an impact in the middle and showed some nice touches after a slow start. The cross led to the goal, erratic in some of his tackling, and I don't think he should have been in the middle for that reason, because if he's going on the wing sides, then obviously he can take advantage of his fantastic crossing. If he's in the centre, it's a lot more difficult to put in a ball like that for someone who's naturally good at crossing a ball. Alvaro was forced off after 78 minutes with a knock, which apparently isn't a serious knock, so that's fine. We couldn't really get him involved in the second half, and he was a bright spot for the time he was on the pitch. Whiteman a 6, he was alright in his midfield, I suppose. He was pretty controlled in the area as well, did some decent passing, and he wasn't as involved in the second half, and he never really is, to be honest. McCann, he won most of his tackles, and when he shifted to right wing back, where he was moved out midway through the first half, not his best position, but he did stick to his task, to be fair, and he did alright there, but it's not ideal again. Johnson a 5. Johnson did ease into the game over time, I can agree, but I just don't think he was with it, because he's very lazy. He was very lazy. He just stood and received 3 steps and passed, and the pass half the time wasn't a great pass. And if he was making a good run and was going to lay off the ball, the pass was always too heavy. Johnson in that lineup, he does not belong in the starting lineup anymore, I'm afraid. Maguire a 5. Again, Maguire being a key player for me, but I'd probably give him a 6. He made an ambitious volley in the first half, but he was fairly quiet. Beside that, needed to get hold of the ball more. He was taken off at the same time as Johnson. Yeah, he didn't see the ball enough, but when he did see the ball, he was alright. He was trying to make space. He was the only one that was moving around the pitch to try and make space. Everyone else was just being very, very flat and lazy that day. Maguire was the only one that was sort of switched on. Reece had one bright run and shot in the second half, but other than that, pretty isolated and restricted to dropping deep and linking the play up, which he did to varying degrees of success, and a wild volley over right at the end from a crazy angle. Ledson on a 4, which he didn't do too much. Woodburn a 5, he got the ball up positive, couldn't provide the spark. Brown a 5, came on at right wing back but didn't get many touches, came on too late I think. He lost his man foot up, which led to the winner. Evans a 4 was tasked with holding the ball, bringing others into the game, but he didn't do that at all, he was just there. He was aggressive in running through people, but that were about it, and Diaby was thrown up front during injury time, won a couple of headers, simple as that. If you're wondering why I didn't read out my first half, second half breakdown, it's because I'm really short for time here. Ryan Law, his match reaction, we weren't good enough, too flat, too many stray forced passes. We got away with one getting in a half-time 0-0 to be honest. To find yourself level within 8 minutes to go, you're thinking just see it through, but a free man nods it in from 3 yards out. The other goal was the second phase. We have to do better. I'm disappointed with our performance and frustrating because we felt it was a game we could get something from, so in other words he's calling Bristol shit. I do not want to make any excuses, some lads were out on their feet but they've been playing well. It's nothing to do with the sickness bug, we just weren't good enough, and I can agree, it was shocking. Bristol were shocking and we were even worse. Low on Hughes at right centre back, defensively sound but couldn't get much on the front foot today. As much on the front foot. I spoke to Hughesy regarding the role, he said no problem. Yeah, fine. Robbie kept coming inside but they dealt with him well, so I put Ali there out to open up his right foot, play some passes for number 8's run on the striker. Sometimes you see these things in games, 2 lefties down that side wasn't free flowing for us, no definitely not. Low on playing tonight. What, Ryan Low on the pitch? I don't really know, you were best asking someone above me, but it's not ideal, is it? Oh, playing on a Wednesday night, right, you were best asking someone above me, but it's not ideal, is it? I think we were tired, we tried not to have it tonight, but Bristol wanted it tonight for obvious reasons. We wanted it another day, but I don't think we could fit it in. Okay, fair enough. I didn't have a problem with it personally. Low on DJ, we were looking for that left-footed balance, and DJ got himself into some good positions, but it was maybe just the final ball. We've got the squad to rotate and change to bring in freshness. Lads just can't keep going and being slotted 90 minutes all the time, yeah. So it's a case of needing fresh legs. Obviously, you can't expect absolute fitness machines in this division, I suppose. But it'd be ideal to have that. Okay, and then one last thing to do before we do our points and our pros and cons before we wrap up is this article literally just dropped about 20 minutes ago, and it's regarding Bauer and a few other people. So the sickness bug, we're all good, there's nothing you can do about it, it just happens, they're all fine, good spirits, done and dusted, it is what it is, it hasn't helped, but they're all fit and healthy, so that's fine. On Bauer, he had an appendix operation, so if you're wondering where he is, that's where he is. It was before West Brom really, said Law. It was bizarre. He thought it was an abdominal pain, but he hadn't done anything because he'd been out the squad for one of those games. The next day he had some soreness, came to see the physio, so we got it all checked. Fair play to the doc and Jack Hall. We got him rushed in. He had the operation 6 days ago and he's back on the mend. But a bit of a bizarre one, and unfortunate for him. I don't think it's months out. I've spoken to the doc and he said maybe 10 days until he's back in training. The surgeon saying it's 2 weeks. So I don't really know, but it all depends on him and how he's feeling. It's his stomach. Hopefully it's not too long, so that's a big shame. Because we haven't really seen much of the German this season, so yeah, unfortunate really. On Alvaro, he was in yesterday, said Law. The lads who had knocks were obviously all in and got some treatment. He's due to train today, that's RCOEs in the morning. Yep, he's expecting most of them to be fit and available. Cool. Diaby, it's games more than anything really. Said Law, Bambo will be champing at the bit, but the defence has been solid and resolute. I get that over the next few weeks the lads will have to be rotated with all the games. I have to take it out of their hands. Because one thing is, I've got a group who doesn't always tell me the truth because they all want to play. Yeah, that's fair enough. I get that, but sometimes we have to look at the numbers to see distances covered. It's tough for them to keep going and going and going. That's why we have a squad where we can rotate it in the right way. So Bambo, he's just got to keep working hard, and he is. Turns like a Trojan every day, to be fair to him, but he's going to a championship fixture with the intensity. It's tough. We'll make sure we manage him, get him fit, and he's selected, and he can hopefully do the job. I'd expect him to be match fit properly for like starting games around December, maybe at the very earliest. On Thursday's day off, it wasn't so much a day off, more of a recovery day for the lads, said Law. Some took themselves to the gym to do their recovery stuff, and the lads who were off had their programmes. I only got back to my house at 1:30 after Bristol, so to drag the lads in and put them through their stuff, the recovery and sleep is sometimes just as important. We've had a later start today, so we'll get them in with 24 hours until the game. It's not ideal playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, with the travel we've had, that's true. But we can't make excuses, we've got to get on with it, and that's what we'll try and do. So yeah, that's valid, I can understand that. Bristol's some distance off as well. Yeah, and then same thing with Bambo and Alvaro. A bit unfortunate for Bauer actually, but at least we have an answer about Bauer's situation. So in terms of our points to make now, we've got match officials. They seem very slow that day. There weren't many travelling fans, but it is a long drive midweek. Defence not as controlled without Jordan Story. The midfield was also completely lazy, and McCann not a right wing back. DJ not to start in the next game, was extremely flat with no creativity. We've got 2 pros to make, which was the subs were okay, and well, they looked alright as in how they played, for what you can give that based on the rest of the performances. And we haven't moved on the table the last I checked. I can check on this one corner. Preston table. Yeah, we're still 8th place, so that's not too bad, I suppose. And in terms of our cons, we've got 5 of them. We've got a poor overall display, we lacked creativity, we were slow and flat, conceded from poor corners, and 0 spark in the squad all game. Simple as that. Probably just one of those games where you're a bit too tired and you can't do much about it. And then come the weekend, we've got a match against Stoke, which will be probably a tricky one. Alex Neil returns to Deepdale, so that'll be fun. Obviously, Stoke aren't doing too hot either. They're in the bottom of the table, near enough. But they have scored 15 goals this season, so that's something to look out for, I suppose. They do seem to be somewhat of a goal. Either every fucking team's a goal threat and we're not, or we just have ridiculous defence. I don't bloody know. But regardless, this is how it's looking at the minute. We're looking alright, still sat in 8th place. I reckon this is probably where we'll finish at this point, to be honest with you. But it is what it is, and we can't do much about it. So I'm sorry this one's late. Obviously work's absolutely killing me, and I've just found a small pocket of time to get this one done. So hopefully come the weekend on Sunday, I'll get the stock video out for Sunday, because I did a poll on Twitter. Make sure to follow me, link in the description, about when you guys like to see the match day reports, and you prefer to see them on the day after the match. So that's completely fine with me. I'll get the stock video out on Sunday, and then the Huddersfield video on Wednesday. It would be Wednesday anyway. So yeah, that's it from me. Take care.